you have to open a text editor. Open a text editor and make this one first, right? Make this text file. You can add some ages, right, and add some gender values and add some marks to that text file and name it as any name. You can give any name for this text file and save it by using .txt extension in the same folder that you created, right? And you have to remember, you have to separate these values by using a comma. By using a comma, you have to separate these values. I will give you 2 minutes. Can you create this one? Right, I think already you have created this text file, right? See, then I will close this one. Then please open the RStudio. And first of all, again, in the similarly, you have to set the working directory to this folder. You have to set the working directory to this folder, which contain data space 2.csv file and as well this data.txt file, right? Then to make the working directly, copy this path, copy the path of your folder, right? Then to check your working directory, you know already we are using getwd function and run this one. Now this is my current working directory part. Now I need to set this one to that folder. For that I am using setwd function. Inside within the quotations I will paste that path, right? And you need to make this every slash into double slashes. You need to make this every slashes into double slashes. Right, then after that you have to run this one. You have to run this one by pressing Ctrl plus Enter. You can run. Then my path have been set. Then again you can run this getwd, moving the cursor to the getwd and press Ctrl plus Enter. Then already my path have been set. You see, to that folder. Now my folder is Metro Lab 2. The folder I have created. Inside this Metro Lab 2 folder only I have what? That CSV file and text file. Right? The CSV file and text file is inside that folder, Metro Lab 2. Right, first of all, I am going to now import that text file. I am going to import that text file to this RStudio. For that, import txt file. To import this txt file, first of all I will create a simple variable called dat, right? You can give any name. This is a variable. Then I am in here, I am using the function read.table function. Read.table function. I am using the read.table function. Inside this read.table function, you need to give your text file name. In my case, what's the name of my text file name? Data.txt. D is capital and ATA is simple. You have to use it as it is. Then capital D data.txt text and put a comma. And there's a special attribute we are using in here. I will tell you why we are using this attribute in later. We call it as header attribute. Right? Header attribute, and I will pass this header as true. We'll pass this header as true, and again I will use another attribute called sep. Right? Sep attribute. And in here, this sep attribute means the separation. The separation. Now here see, in my text file, I have separated these values by using what? By using a comma. By using a comma, I have separated these values. Therefore, in here, I am using for the separation within this quotation a comma, right, to identify the values separately. Then I will run this one by pressing Ctrl plus Enter. Then call the variable that. Then you can see in the console part, right, the values inside that text file have been added. Values in the text file have been added. Then what's the use of this header equal true? Now here's the, let me make this header as false. Let me make this header as false. False. Here's the, when we run this one, right, then it will display like this. For the age, it will represent it as V1, and for the gender, it will represent as V2. And for the marks, it will represent as V3. That means this one column, this age column, is represented by the data type what? Vector 1. The data type is vector. This, therefore, this is age is what? This age column is vector 1, and this gender column is vector 2, and this marks column is vector 3. It's represented as vectors, right? That's why now we no need to display these columns values, right? No need to find the classes. We no need. Only we need the values. Only we need to display these values. Therefore, we are using this header is as only the heading we need. That's why we are using in here header as true. Then let me run this one. Right, again. Then without that vector values, it will represent. Right? It doesn't represent the type of that columns. Vector 1, vector 2, vector 3. Just it will display the values. Then now think, if I didn't give this separation comma, I will erase this separation comma, right? And I will just read this one. Now let me run and check what will happen for this one. Here see, the values will be imported, but they are not ordered. They are not nicely arranged. Even that commas also have been printed. Here see, commas also have been printed. Right, that's why we are using this separation attribute for the neatness, right? Because we have separated the values by using a comma. Instead of this comma, even you can use a space. Then in the text file, instead of this comma, you have to keep a space for each and every value. Got it? Right. Then if I run this one again, it will arrange in order. This is the way how to import a text file to RStudio. Then there's another one, right? You can open these values. In editor mode. Right? To open these values in editor mode, we are using a function called fix. Right? Inside this fix function, we are calling this variable. Now this variable holds these all values. Right? Therefore, we are calling this variable in here. Then let me run this one. Right? Then you can see the data editor mode will open. Right? Then it represent like this. Right? This is the data editor mode. Now there's a special case. Now if you open this data editor mode when you are typing any other R statement, first of all you need to close this one, right? You need to close this editor mode like this. You have to close this editor mode, then only again you can type some R statement, right? You can type any R statement. If not, what will happen? This RStudio will be stuck, right? Then again you have to restart the RStudio, right? Therefore, remember that one, right? When you run this editor mode, When you run this edit mode, when you are doing something, when you are writing R statement, first of all you have to close this. You have to close this one, and only then you can type other functions. For an example, max function likewise, right? Got it? Right, then I will open this editor mode. Now in this editor mode, you can simply edit the values. You can simply edit the values like this. Now for an example, now this column is variable 4. Variable 4. In here I will give another name as mark. Right, another mark, and I will make this type as numeric. And I will add some marks to it, another marks. I will give it as 100 and 55 and 10. I will apply some values, right? Then you have to remember what, when you are using this R statement, first of all you need to close this one, right? Close this editor mode, right? Now then you can run your variable. Now my variable is that. No, is if I run my variable, right, new column has been added, which I have added. It is mark. The marks which I have added are displayed in the console part. New column, likewise, right? Then again, next you can write this one. Again, you can write these values, right, to another text file, and you can save this one in another text file also, right? To write this text value, to export these values into a text file, we are using another function called write. Write.table. We are using this write.table function. First of all, inside this table function, write.table function, we need to pass what? Our variable dat, because that variable contains these values. Therefore, first of all, you need to pass this variable dat, right? Then put a comma, and next you have to give the file name. Text file name. You need to give the text file name. For that, we are using a new attribute called file. Right? File. Then within the quotations, you can give a name. In here, I will give a new name, likewise. New data, and you have to give it the extension. What's the extension? It is a text file. Then .txt. You need to pass it as new data.txt. You can give any name to here, right? You can give any name, but the extension should be there. .txt should be there because it is a text file. Then let me run this one. Let you run this function, write.table function. If you run this write.table function, now you can go to your folder which you set to your working directory. Here see, a new text file have been added to your folder. New text file. When you open this text file, right, the new values which we added, right, we add these new values, another mark, and these 3 marks we add, right, they have been added. And in this case, here the values are separated by using comma, not the comma, right? They have separated by using a space. Values have separated by using a space without a comma, right? Separated by using a space, right? That's the thing. Is it clear up to this point? Next part is how to import a CSV file. Right? Next one, import CSV file. Right, go to the folder and open your CSV file. Right, this is a CSV file. This is not an Excel file, right? This is not an Excel file, this is a CSV file. Right, this is the CSV file. You can download from this one from the Courseware. Right, then the CSV file contain huge set of values. Normally I think 200 rows are there. 200 rows. Yeah, there are 239 values. Right, not values, rows. 239 rows are there in this CSV file. Now in here, the CSV format means we are calling it as comma delimited. Now when you enter the values to an Excel sheet, right? When you enter the values to the Excel sheet, when you are saving that Excel file, you have to give the extension, right? You can give any name and you have to give the extension. You have to select this extension, CSV extension. You have to select it. We call it as comma delimited. You have to select that extension because this CSV files only RStudio can import. Excel file cannot imported by RStudio. Therefore, you have to convert that Excel file into CSV file by simply save as it, right? Save as it by using a new extension called .csv. Remember that now. Comma delimited. That means the values have separated by using a comma, right? It identifies the values separation by using a comma. That's why we are calling it as a comma delimited, right? Now let me try how to import this CSV file. Right, then again I will call a new variable called CSV. I will create a new variable called CSV, right? Then to import this CSV file to RStudio, we are using the function read.csv function. Inside this read.csv function, you need to pass that CSV file name. The CSV file name you need to pass. Now in here, what's the CSV file? You have, right? Capital D, capital A, capital T, capital A. That means data, right? Capital data, and there's a space, right? Capital data, then space, then 2, right? You have to give it as it is, right? You have to give it as it is. Then data, then you have to put a space and 2 dot and give the extension by using simple letters CSV, right? .csv. This is the way. Remember those things, right? If you do some mistakes, it will do not import, right? It doesn't import if you do some mistakes, right? Then let me run this one, right? No any issues. To check the values, you can just call the variable CSV, right? Here's it. In the console part, all the values will be imported. Now these values are not arranged in order manner, right? Just they have numbered only. All the values have imported. All the values have imported, right? Right, it's better to open the CSV variable in editor mode, right? Then it will look like a nice table, right? Then you can use the similar fix command, fix function. You can use this fix function and all data are inside this variable, CSV variable, all this CSV variable. And let me run this one. Then here's it, the data editor mode will be open. All the values will be separately in separate columns, right? All the values are there, right? This is the editor mode. Now you have to remember, when you open this editor mode, when you are doing something, you have to first of all you have to close this one and do the other works in RStudio. Right, now again in here, let me edit some values. I will select this new column. Right? This is the variable 11, and I will add a new variable name as telephone. right? Simply I will make it as telephone, and the telephone is a number, no? Therefore I will select the type as numeric. Even you can take it as a character, right? That's okay, right? Right, telephone. Then I will add some telephone numbers, right? Just I will add some numbers. Right, are there any issues? Just let me add some numbers. Or telephone number. Right, again you have to close this editor mode. When you after you edit, you have to close this one. After you edit, you have to close this one. Close this one. Right, now we have add new values. No, we have add new values to our CSV variable. Right, we have add. Then again we can export this one to a new CSV file. We can export it. To export this one to new CSV file, again we can use the same command, write.csv function. You can call this write.csv function, right? Then again you have to pass the variable which is contained our data values, right? In my case it is CSV, right? And again we are using that file attribute and give the file name, right? CSV file name. In here I will give it simply as gg.csv, right? Simple gg.csv. You have to give the extension as the file name, right? gg.csv. And this is the variable which contains the whole data set, right? CSV. Right, then we run this one. But when you run this one, then again you can go to the folder, and you can check, right? Inside the folder they have created a new CSV file. New CSV file have been created. Then open this CSV file. Right, here you can see the added column. We added a new column called telephone. It have been added, and the values that we added also have been added to the new CSV file, right? And the other parts, we didn't give any values to these columns. No, it represent by capital NA. That means what? Not allocated. It represent not allocated. They are empty space, no any allocations, not allocated, right? Is simply represented by capital NA, right? Then this is the way how to read a CSV file. To read the CSV file, we are using read.csv function, right? And to edit some values, we can use this fix command to open the editable mode, right? Then at last, after editing, we can write it to a new CSV file by using this write.csv function. And as well, now think, you need to save this CSV file to a different place, different folder, right? In your machines, in different folder, you have to save it. Now for an example, think now this is my folder is Metro Lab 2 now. Now I need to save this one. I will take the next folder, this one, PS Metro. I need to save these things inside this folder, right? I need to save that CSV file inside this folder, PS Metro, right? Then what you have to do, you have to copy this path of the folder, copy the path of this folder, right? Then again you can use this write.csv function, and in file attribute, right, put this double slash, and in front of this double slash you can copy the path. You can copy the path like this. Copy the path and make these e slashes into double slash, make this each slashes into double slash likewise, right? Then at last our file name should be there. Now in my case this is gg.csv. Let me change this one into another name. I will make this one as ggjj likewise, right? I will new name to my csv file, right? At last the file name should be there. You have to remember, you have to put this extension .csv extension, right? Now let me run this one. Let me run this one. Press Ctrl plus Enter, and let me go to the folder and check to the PS Metro folder. Here see, a new CSV file have been added to this folder. Then you can open this one, right? Here the same values are there. The edited values also there inside this folder, inside this CSV file, new CSV file, right? Similar method you can use for the text file also. This similar method also you can use for to the text file. If you need to write this text file, export this text file into different folder, similar method you can give the path to that folder, right? In here, right? Similar method, right? Right, this is the way how to import a CSV file and to fix it, how to edit this one by using this fix command, and how to export by using this write.csv function. Are there any issues? Is it clear up to this point?